Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's get the headphones. Volume should be good. Level should be clean. What it is, people. Vader Games in the building. Another episode of Why Always Me. Episode 48. I hope the levels are great. We got another show for my peeps. And you know what it is. First things first, my peoples come first. You're returning to the channel. I appreciate and love it. You're new to the channel. Hit that sub button. Like it. Share it. Subscribe. You know what it is. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Let me go to the comments and Shout out my peoples. I gotta shout out my peoples. Edison in the building, the coach, the man with knowledge up in there. Jack, international break needs to be burnt. Yo, they need to bun it off and get rid of it. I agree. I agree. So scared that Haaland might get injured. Playing international players all across the board, Jack. I'm with you, man. Those games are nerve wracking for me. Absolutely nerve wracking. I want our players to play well, but at the same time, I don't want them to get injured. But thanks for tuning in. The Mancunian Way in the building as well. Good evening, everyone. You know what it is. You know what it is. It's another week. It's another episode. International break is over. It was killing me. It absolutely was killing me, and I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad that it's over. I'm looking forward to the World Cup. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see that. Canada is going to do their thing. Watch what the maple syrup does in this upcoming tournament. And I got to do it official. Before we kick anything off, before we get into the comments, we got to run the intro. All right, I got to make sure I clean that up because I don't want my external speaker messing up with that. But thank you all for tuning in. I love it. Hey, I love that families talking to each other. Let's all thank Southgate for not risking. Edison, you're nasty for that one. You're nasty for that one, Edison. Okay. I want to do this without a hat. With a hat. You know what? I'm gonna do this with a hat today. I'm not quite liking the curls today. All right. Let's see. We got a lot to get into. I've got a link that I'm going to be sharing for the fam that are going to be able to tune in. And before I kick all that off, I just want to deal with a little bit of an intro. And you got to look at the comments here. You know what we're going to run through. Tell me in the comments if you like it, if you want it tweaked a little bit. You know what to expect. Does it help you if you happen to watch it on a rerun, on a replay, coming back to watching it videos on demand? If you come back and watch this at the later date, do the topics help you? Do I need to make it? Do I need to make them larger for you guys to actually enjoy and properly use? Please let me know in the comments as I try to continuously look to improve the channel. All right, so international break finally over, officially over, and it was difficult, and not to go back and revisit everything, but it was difficult because we also had the passing of the Queen that interrupted play, right? Still being respectful, but interrupted play in terms of matches. So a lot of us have been out without some matches. And in particular, we didn't get a chance to play Spurs, and I wanted that test. I wanted that test against Tottenham. And also, I guess if we look back, I believe United actually missed out on one, maybe two matches that they were to play. So is there going to be a little bit of rust going into this match? Maybe. Is there any excuse for how either team plays going into the Manchester Derby? No. Excuses do not fly with regards to this matchup, so that's not happening. But the international break was, and again, it was said, Jack mentioned it, Edison joked about it. We just want our players to play. Obviously, they have a love, they have a dream to play for the country. We want them to play, and selfishly, we don't want them to get hurt. We don't want them hurt. We want them coming back to our club so that they can just damage up the league and obviously the league title that we're all pursuing. So it hurt. It was tough to see Stones. I didn't see with regards to the injury as of now, whether it's long-term or not, but he did suffer an injury. Good to see that Walker played no injury. Outside of England, with regards to our other players, and I believe, do some play today? I got to look that up. But I believe no one else, with regards to Manchester City, have suffered any injuries. Laporte, obviously, we're okay. He's progressing. Calvin Phillips, we know that. We know we're not expecting him to come back. So for him, surgery that's required, his season, when it's gonna start back up, we don't know. But everyone else looks good. I believe. I hope. So we go into this weekend. But before we even do that, I just wanted, and I should put these on screen. Let me go real quick. Jack goes, the Queen passing made the football absence longer, and yeah, United missed the Palace and Leeds game. Good point. Good point. So they missed 2 matches, we missed 1. But yeah, I think like all of us, we've been fiending, we've been wanting this club football to happen, right? And we're in it. But before I go fully into this Manchester derby, and you can see there, international break, we addressed the City goal tracker. I think all of you were in the stream and part of it at the time when pretty much the season was concluded. The transfer window was not closed. I have to admit, the transfer window wasn't closed when I did this, or when we did it, I should say. But we put the goal tracker on screen, and let me make sure I can find it and do that right now. So I'm going to go to here. The magic of I gotta be better organized so I can do this seamlessly for you guys. Okay, where is it? Why am I missing it now? Okay, that's annoying me. No, not that. Oh, there we go. Cool. Okay. So we did the goal tracker, right? We scored 99 goals last season. We scored 99 goals last season. And I think, yeah, I can put that over here. We scored 99, and it's like, for simplicity, let's say it's 100, and let's kind of look at what we would expect, right? What we would expect from the team this year, all right? So we look at it right now, and all in all, if we were to score 100 goals, we were already saying that 20% of those goals would come from Holland. Okay? 20%, and then the rest would be made up elsewhere. Let's look at this real quick. And the predicted goals, we said 20 for Holland, but that's at the end of the season. We said 20 for Holland at the end of the season. KDB, 11 end of the season, right? Silva, we said 5 at the end of the season. Cancelo, which was ambitious, but we said 5 for Cancelo end of the season. Big numbers. Ilkay Gundogan, we said 8. Grealish, we said 6. That was very, very ambitious for Grealish. But we look at Alvarez. We said we had 7. Foden, we had 8. Riyad Mahrez, we had 9. So again, we worked through the process. We kind of gave our goal predictions, and really we settled. I said let's settle on 100 so that we can have the percentages. I think we're going to exceed 100 goals. I do believe we're going to exceed 100 goals for the season. But for the percentage now, just strictly for the percentage, do we think that the percentages for goals towards the number, whatever number we hit, do we think that the percentage by player is going to be greater? I said 11% of the goals was going to be 11% was going to come from KDB. KDB has 1 so far in the season. We said Bernardo Silva was going to contribute 5% from a goal standpoint. I'm not talking assists, just goals. He's already at 2. Gundogan's already at 2, and we said 8. Foden, we said 8, and he's at 2 as well. So we're still scoring by committee. Like let's not be fooled. Let's not get into the hype that we're only scoring because of Haaland. That's not true. We still have a good mix of players that are scoring. I mean, I would admittedly say that I'm surprised Mard hasn't scored, but when we think about his form, makes sense, right? When we think about Mars' form, makes sense. And I don't want to spend too much crazy time on this, but should I put in a third column and say revised predicted goals? Should we do a revised? I'm going to do that right now. All right. The beauty about this is it's already saved. I'm not going to. I can come back and look at it and change it real quick. But I wanna make the changes right now. With me, let's do this together. And I know I know player names are missing, right? Because we're missing a Kanji. Delap's not on the squad. So let me change that real quick. Just for simplicity, okay? So, and I'm missing some comments. My bad. Jack goes should have 120 last season. That false nine system was he goes was a failure. Okay, it was a failure because we weren't able to win everything, which we would have loved to do. But with regards to the Premier League, it's hard to say that the false nine system was a failure. But I hear you. Mancunian Way goes top scorer is Jack, so wouldn't say it was a failure last season. Is it just? It's just the league. Martin, a false nine cost us the Cartel Cup and the potential trouble. Hey, it's a fair point. I wouldn't say that the system cost us. Maybe I should adjust my seating here. I wouldn't say that the false nine system really cost us because it was really based off of personnel. Players didn't take their chances, and players in terms of like feeding some killer passes to be able to create scoring opportunities, as well as players that should have been taking the shots. Delap can't score for Stoke. Never mind us. Yeah, I didn't get the edit. I didn't get the edit. We're good there. We're good. I know, but to be honest, we still finished scoring goals for fun. Yeah. This is great. Gonna need more goals this season. Akanji looks decent, and so does Ake. But Diaz, right now, Diaz isn't looking. He's not looking like the Diaz of old, but I think he's gonna get that form. So let's do this. This is gonna be a revised revised. You know what? I'm just going to say updated prediction. Updated predicted goals. Let's leave it the same. I make this wider, and it'll push that out. You know what? That's fine. Okay. That's the updated predicted goals. Okay. Updated predicted goals. Let's go. Let's bang through this real quick. Are we adjusting the predicted goals for Mbete? No. I say no. Let me know in the comments. Anything that we need to change going down the list, tell me what to change. But if so, we'll leave it the same. I think Mbate is the same. I think Wilson will leave the same. Walker, I might actually reduce Walker because I just want Walker to defend. I don't want any. I'm not lying. What Stones just did in the Champions League, I don't need Walker to do that. Like those attempts, I want them to be far and few between, but it's not expected. Walker, I would actually drop down. I would drop down to 0. Diaz, the occasional header in the box corners, I would want that. I'd probably leave that. So let me. If you guys disagree, tell me in the comments. I'm going through real quick. We're taking away a goal from Walker. That leaves us at 98, so we're gonna have to adjust that. Ruben Diaz, I think we leave it 2. Stones that's Champions League goal, so it doesn't even account to Premier League. But Stones, I think we should leave it 3. Between Stones and Diaz, I would look for Stones to be on the scoring end more. Ake, I think we leave it 2. I think we leave Ake at 2. Cancelo, he's already got 1. 5's ambitious. 5's ambitious, but I'm going to leave that there. Laporte, late start to the season. He's only expected to score 2. Same thing as all center backs. I believe they can give us 1 or 2, those headers, those deflections inside the box to give us a goal. Now, Phillips, I'm going to take these goals away from Phillips. I don't think you guys would disagree. We're going to take 2 goals away from Phillips. Gundogan, I think we leave at 8. Gundogan, I think we leave at 8. Could he give us 10? Gundogan or Silva? Or does KDB step up some more? Dudley in the building, I see you. We're updating the goal scoring predictions. Updated predicted goals. That's where we're adjusting real quick. I think we took away from Silva. I think Gundogan we're gonna need him. We're gonna need more goals from him. And I know that looks like KDB's dropped off because I believe KDB gave us 15 last year. I think Gundo steps up. He gives us the 10. This Jack's given us 1. I think he gave us 3 goals and 3 assists last season. I'm gonna leave Jack where he is. Rodri, I'm gonna leave Rodri where he is. KDB, let's leave KDB where he is. Now, when we get to Bernardo, he's already got 2. I think we bump him up to 7, maybe 8. What are y'all thinking? Jack goes, Bernardo could get. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking of giving him 2 extra, bring him to 7. Yeah. Let's bring Bernardo up to 7. Jack, you know what? What the aggressiveness that we saw from Jack might propel him to go to score more. Okay. You know what? Let's do this. We're also gonna let's go. Jack's gonna give us 8. I'm with you in the chat. Jack's gonna give us 8. Rodri, I think Rodri stays there around 4. Foden's already given us 2, and Foden looks like we were all on. I was one of them. Hands up. I would agree. I was one of them that was saying Foden has been a little too trigger happy with the shots because a few times early, first 2 games of the season, I was saying, man, he should have squared the ball to Haaland, right? We could say that Haaland should be on 22 goals for the season, but we know that Foden's been taking his shots. I think he's going to continue to do that. I don't think it's going to be at the expense of not properly giving passes to Haaland because he's shown that he's looking for him. But I think Foden steps up. I think we give Foden 10, maybe 11 goals. I think we give Foden 10, maybe 11. Let's bump him up to 10. And I know in the chat, I believe it was Jack that said we should probably look at this predicted number of goals for the season to be 120, which is phenomenal. So let's get to that 120 number. We're 16 off. So Foden, we bumped up. Silva, I think we can bump up to 8. I agree with you guys. KDB at 11. KDB, Gundogan. KDB, Gundogan. I think there's going to be an emphasis in the season that's going to be so focused on shutting down Haaland and like preventing passes to going into him and like him pulling players and so much attention. I think that's going to free up Gundogan and KDB. I think it'll free up Silva as well. In that midfield, I think there's going to be shooting opportunities. Rodri as well. If KDB goes for 22 plus assists and scores close to 15 like he did last season, I think we bump him up. I think we bump him up to 13. I think we bump KDB up to 13. I think we should do that. I'm seeing in the chat Rodri 6. I'm not mad at that either. I think that midfield late arrival into the 18-yard box or just outside there is going to be huge this year. It's going to be huge. I think, yeah, let's give Rodri at least 6. We're going to give him 2 more. I know he's got no goals as of now. He's got no goals, but I can see that coming on. Palmer out on the wings. I love his directness. I love his confidence. We know, young player. He looks to always leave an imprint on the game. He steps in and he's looking to instantly be of impact, and I like that about him. Is it going to result in some goals? I'm not sure. I'm going to leave him at 2. I'm going to go to Holland last. Julian Alvarez already has 2, and I believe he scored those 2 when Holland had scored a hat trick. It was one of those crazy games. So goals are going to be there for this guy. Yeah, I see you guys in the chat saying Palmer maybe 1, but let me give him something to shoot for. Alvarez 2 right now in the season, and we predicted 7. I say we give this. We give him 10. I think 10. I think 10 for such a young player. How hungry he's going to be. He's going to want that 10. This is where I'm hurting. This is where I am hurting, guys. Mahrez. I really don't know. We said 8 for Grealish. Mahrez has to dance on that side, right? Mahrez has to give us. He has to give us what Grealish is giving us just on the other side. I'm not writing him off in terms of how productive and the contribution that Mahrez can have, because I think if the goals drop, I think he will be crossing, whipping some of those balls in when he cuts to his left foot and kicking it far post. I think he's going to create some chances. But goal-wise, I'm going to drop him. I think I'm going to drop. This might be in the league. This might be a rough year for Mahrez. I think he drops to 7, but his assists kick up. So now we got to find 10 more goals. We got to assign the 10 goals because we set a target of 120, right? And I can work out the percentages later. But the target of 120, where are we putting? Is Holland scoring 30, guys? Am I crazy? Am I getting too hyped? Am I getting too hyped to say Holland's going to score 30 goals? I was so conservative at the start of the season. I was like, let's not put any pressure on him. He's new. He's going to be learning Pep system. Let's look for 20. Let's look for 20 goals. If he's around 20, he's going to be competing for that Ballon d'Or, Golden Boot. Guys, I think Holland's going for 30. Jack, that's an amazing point. He's on 11 and 7. He's on 11 and 7. We got to do it. This is updated predicted goals. It's not an expectation. It's just a prediction based off of what we're seeing, right? Based on what we're seeing. Holland could go 22. He could go 22 for 14. I should share next show. I'm going to share a picture that shows Holland's games and goals in the leagues that he's been in. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the next show, I might go on. I know. I know I'm going to go on a furious rant because I know that a lot of rivals are talking bad about Holland, about this whole eye test, about not being good on the eye, about his first touch, about how effective he is as a baller, as a footballer. I'm gonna put all that to bed. I'm gonna crush all the naysayers. I'm gonna crush the rivals. They're not gonna have any of those points to revisit because I'm gonna deal with it properly. Holland, he's at 20 right now. We're predicting that City's gonna score 120 in the league. Let's go. I think it's that simple. I think it's that simple. Martin goes, Mahrez needs an exit, not goals. Ooh. He just signed a new deal. He just signed an extension. Mahrez isn't exiting. I think Mahrez is gonna find his passing boosts, his assists. I think he's gonna be crossing some really good balls across to the far post. It's gonna lead to Holland opportunities, gonna lead to Foden, Grealish, whoever's on that left hand side, even Gundogan or Silva, depending on who's running those channels. I think that might be the next role for Mahrez. Jack goes, I think Holland would get 40 goals in the Premier League, including a hat trick this weekend. Ooh, a hat trick this weekend would be absolutely amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the defensive battle that United is going to have to deal with us as well as Holland. I'm excited to see that. So I put that on screen. I'm actually going to make sure that I send in. Let me send this real quick. How can I do this? Oh yeah, sorry. Click on that. Perfect. I'm going to talk about the Manchester Derby, and nothing crazy, nothing in crazy depth. But I'm gonna look to do that with the help of some of the fam if they're available. Not mandatory if possible, and it works out fantastic. If not, no biggie. But I'm just extending it to the fam. Do you hear my typing? Let me know, because I want to adjust things so it's nice and clean as possible. Okay, let me do the clean transition here. So we're going to do this. And we're gonna Vader games. Gotta adjust that. All right. So what we have here is the Manchester Derby. And what I want to just talk about, not in crazy length, because I'm gonna have the pleasure of being on a few shows. Definitely tune in. Make sure you're following me on Twitter, and I'll tweet or retweet where I'm going to end up being. But hopefully you can catch me there. Mancunian Way, Gundaloran with Pitch Points, Patrick, True City Fan, as well as Football and Chills are going to have shows leading into the week. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you're staying in tune for that. But what I want to do is I'm going to put this on screen. And it is, there's a color. Got that. Where's the other one? So let me start with this. Okay. This is because normally we talk about City first, but it's a Manchester derby, and I want to actually put the focus on because we know our team so well. I want to first talk about United. So let me know if you see that and if it's clean on the screen. I think this is probably how they're going to set up. If I were to guess, okay, maybe I'm not sure. Maybe Rashford and Martial switch out. So maybe that's a difference. And maybe Rashford comes off the bench or something like that. But I think this is how United's going to set up. Okay. And I should probably put us on the screen as well without messing around with the real estate too much. Can I do that? Let's see. Let me see. Because actually, no, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that the way it is. I'm gonna leave that the way it is. In the future, though, I will look to have both formations up. Yeah. I'm gonna set it. I'm gonna set it up. It's gonna be clean. It's gonna be clean the next time around. But this is what I think United's gonna set up. Okay. And if we are going to get targeted or attacked, right? This being Manchester United's left side will be attacking our right side. I don't think they're going to get much joy attacking our right side. Okay, and which I'll talk about our 11. I'll show 11. You know what? Maybe I'll show 11 right now. Boom, boom. That's our 11 right now. So I don't think Sancho. I really don't believe. I don't believe that Sancho and Malaysia are really, especially Malaysia. I don't think he's going to be too forward. I don't expect any real high pressing from United. I don't. So the attack is really going to be Sancho, and I think Sancho having to deal with a Foden that's going to drop back, defensive responsibility, as well as Walker primarily. I don't think there's going to be much joy there. Okay, Walker remains disciplined. He's not. Pep doesn't have him do any inverted tight movement. I think we're good on the right hand side. Now, United's right hand side, attacking our left hand side, attacking this with Cancelo and Grealish is where I do have concern. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I do have, if I were to say where do I not want United to attack us, it's gonna be on the left hand side. Okay, that's just it. I mean, not to say we're vulnerable and it's high risk anything that's being played on that side, because I think for what. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna have to turn that off. Let's go to my sound here. Bear with me. I do that and change that. Yeah, I think that's good. Hopefully the levels are pretty good too. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. But let me go to these comments real quick. Oh wow. Jack, you're in a mood today. I can't lie. You're in a mood today. Jack's having problems with himself already. The week leading up to it's already difficult. Hey, 100%. This international break had me thinking way more than I needed to for this matchup. And then on top of that, it's now here. And I hate that Stone's got a nick. I don't know what the injury is, but maybe I'll find out some more. Um, Jack also goes, our defense is a problem this season. Attacking wise, nothing to worry about. I agree. Attacking wise, we look really good. We're finding our way. We're not even in sixth gear at all. Not even close. But we're doing our thing. Jack also goes on to say they'll run on Walker if he plays, and Cancelo is rubbish. They will put balls into the box. We need to clear them out. Ariel. I'm not too sure. About that. Ground level crosses into the box, Cancelo wise. I don't know. And like I said, so I've got Cancelo starting. I got Walker. I believe that's probably us at our best defensively. But I think just the channel, attacking that side of the pitch, is where I do see the emphasis. Player wise, now I trust our two center backs. I know some will say Ruben Diaz hasn't quite been in form, but Akanji and Ruben working together, I do like that mix. No, I hear you, Jack. You're just a pessimist. I'm not mad at that. It's good for the perspective, so we can have the combo. You know what? I was able to, and I'm so thankful. I'm gonna bring my man Martin into the mix. He's backstage. If you haven't, and you must have, but if you're watching this on our replay, you're new to the channel, because thank you so much for the new subscribers. If you're new, tune in and support this channel the main Cunion way. Martin, excellent host. He's got 3 shows already lined up for the week, and he's always bringing in new surprises. He's able to be a part of the show today. I was able to be a part of his show yesterday. So when he comes in, please make sure to say hi in the comments. Show him some love. Martin, how you doing, man?
Afternoon. No, by the way, 4 shows.
4 shows this week.
We're doing one tonight at 8:30 with we've got a guy called Nuruddin coming up.
Right.
The United perspective as well tonight.
Okay, so not only is he giving you the city perspective with a panel, he's giving you the United perspective with a special guest. I'm glad you're able to be a part of today's show, because usually the Why Always Me is me talking to the audience, sometimes doing a pre-recorded and just uploading it, me talking to the screen. So to be able to have the convo with you is great. I sent out the link to a few of the family as well. We'll see if they're able to join. Not so much with the topics right now, but primarily with the Manchester Derby. I put up, and I'm not sure if you can see it on screen there. Maybe I'll adjust this so it's a little larger. But I put up my 11 as I see right now. I think it might be a common 11 that many would want or expect. Possibly some would want to drop Grealish and look to put Foden on the left and bring in Alvarez. But if we're anticipating Pep, this is what I thought we could expect. Now, I was just saying, first of all, what do you think? Because I don't want to steal your thunder. I know you got 4 shows this week, and you're probably going to go into your 11. But top of mind, really quick, what do you think of the 11?
I'm totally fine with the front 3. You know me, Foden on the right. I'm not going to... Anyone who's watched me knows what I think of Foden on the right. Far more productive on the left. Midfield, I'm happy with, because I don't ever want to see Gundogan, KDB and Rodri ever together again. It's too slow.
Okay.
I'm back. Walker's the only one, isn't it? Walker is the only one.
That's fine. I don't want to hear your point. You're going to share your point on your show. Viewers, you're going to tune into Martin's show. You're going to hear exactly why he doesn't like Martin back there as of now. But we're gonna leave it there. A little suspense, a little teaser, as I like to say. Now, here's the 11, and here's where I was like, and mind you, I don't watch a lot of United games. The app that I am able to watch the Premier League on, I can actually go back and watch previous matches. This is the 11 that they had playing against Arsenal, their last match, and they won. They won versus Arsenal, giving Arsenal their only defeat. I think we can expect this. Maybe Rashford, Martial switch out because of injury, I believe, is maybe the thinking. But I think this is the 11 to start with. And if I'm thinking of United's right-hand side and them now attacking our left-hand side, which is going to be Grealish, Cancelo, and maybe the interchange whether Silva or KDB is on that side, but primarily with regards to our left back, that's really my only. Oh, I'm sitting in my chair. I'm sitting up in it. I'm paying attention because I think Cancelo has a tendency to be part of the offense, to be part of the attack, to be within the flow. We know that United, as they played against Arsenal, they're not going to attack us. They're going to counterattack us, but I don't think they're going to proactively, aggressively look to attack us. As much as a derby is, I don't think that's going to be their approach, especially because they're coming to our house. So I kind of see the counterattacking taking place, trying to get behind Cancelo when he's advanced up the pitch, and those are my concerns right now. What do you think of my concerns?
That's the way United beat us. If you look every time they have beaten us, it's counter-attack. Going back to Martial and Rashford, that's what worries me. When I look at that United team, I do see nothing but pace up top. Not saying it's the most skillful, but pace-wise, when you've got Antony, Sancho, Rashford as potentially your front three, I do sit there and think Cancelo could be in for a long afternoon. And that's what I think we've got to take into consideration when we look at it. All depends what Ten Hag decides to do, if I'm totally honest. We've seen many a derby where we expect a particular team and it doesn't happen. Is Ten Hag going to pay us any respect?
Yes, I think he does. I think for the sake of the United pressure from the fan base and the two losses that they started the season with, and the fact that they actually got results. Correct me if I'm wrong. They got results from Liverpool. They got results from Arsenal.
It's the lower teams they struggle against at the moment. I mean, the Arsenal game was a funny one because Arsenal were all over him until Arteta decided I'm going to make 3 subs.
Yeah.
That just literally opened the door back for United to go ahead. That was something obviously Arteta's got to learn from. But when I look at it on paper, and this is purely on paper, to me, this is the strongest United team we've faced in a while.
Right.
For me, when you look at the youth, the enthusiasm, I mean, let's be honest, Ten Hag's got Delot going again. He's got Delot looking like a world-class fullback all of a sudden. What we have to do is we have to get in between those back two. So if you're going to play Martinez and Varane, for example, in De Gea, that's where City can get a lot of joys through that middle. Because if he decides to play McTominay and he decides to play Bruno and everything else, we have to. It's weird because I've flipped and flopped over this game so many times in the last 2 days. Because let's be honest, Eriksen, before the break, was in the form of his life.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
he was clicking everything. It's weird.
No,
they've not played for 4 weeks. This is the thing, mate. They've not played for 4 weeks.
Exactly.
They haven't. So are they going to come out cold? For me, the way we have to do it this time is quick out the blocks. We have to kill any momentum from there on in. The longer it stays 0-0, the more worried I get.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. And I don't want to steal the thunder that you're going to have on your upcoming shows. I think that because of and again, earlier in the show, I had to completely revamp the goal predictions that we had for City. I had Haaland at 20. He's already got 11, and it's 7 games into the season. So we kind of revamped that. But because of him, and the attention that we know he's going to have from United center backs, I think, even to your point, if it does become a 0-0, maybe 60th minute in the match, I think there's still going to be that it's a matter of it happening. Now, can we remain resolute defensively is where I'm going to be concerned, but I won't be concerned that we're not going to get our opportunities to score and put some goals behind the net. Now,
I don't have an issue centre back, by the way. Centre back, I'm no worries. It's all full back. It's all the full backs where my worry is.
Fair. What I want to see, and this is, I take the time, viewers. I hope you enjoy it, but I definitely look to think of what I want to talk about before putting on the show and not just jumping on. But what I want to see in this match is really there's going to be such an emphasis with regards to Silva, KDB, and Rodri, because I think that's where we're going to be controlling this game, because Bruno is sloppy with the ball. I think there's going to be poor passes, poor touches where we can actually turn and create some opportunities. And I want those guys dialed in. I want the touches, I want the passes to be crisp, because I think that's where we're going to be able to exploit them. And before they can properly set up and get so defensively organized, when they mess up in that midfield, we get the ball in transition. I think Haaland's going to be looking. He's going to have some opportunities to really cause some havoc. So that's where I'm going to be watching intently. The analyzing this upcoming match is going to continue for many days. Like, this is just Tuesday into the week. Match is on Sunday. There's so much more to come. Let me go to the comments. Jack, he's a pessimist. He admitted it. He goes, Diaz is in shocking form. Akanji is the only defender I have faith in for this match. I think Diaz, because it's a derby, I'm confident in Diaz. I am, because, and here's another thing that actually brings me to this. I've said this before with regards to some of the personalities and some of the energy we need within the team. Fernandinho was never a hothead, but he was the perfect equalizer to match energy from our opposing teams.
He was the master of dark arts.
He was the master of the dark arts, and he was also, like Denzel, the equalizer. If you put on if there was a foul that he thought that was a little too heavy on one of our players, best believe he's going to be returning the favor. I'm looking within our team right now, and I don't know where I can get that from. I don't know if I'm really going to get that from Rodri. You know what? I can get that from Silva. I can see that from Silva. But defensively, we can't really expect our players to do that as well. I don't want that from Walker. Walker's shown a tendency to do that at the wrong times, but I don't want to see that from Walker. I definitely don't want to see that from Diaz. Just how important it is where they're going to be on the pitch to be able to do things like that. But this is where I think a player like McTominay is probably going to get on one of our players' skins. I think because he's one of those energy guys. I saw him in that Arsenal match putting in some tackles where I was questioning, that's not a yellow, that's not even a warning. So I just hope, like you mentioned, I hope that we match the energy right from the gate, and that we play to just set the tone. It's in our house. We're going to have to make sure that we set everything right. But we're going to get into absolutely. Absolutely. Don't go looking for the ref. Look to deal with the matter at hand. And I think that's when we know.
That's what we've not done under Pep. I mean, I'm sorry for jumping in. That's my biggest frustration on the Pep is we've never really played it as a derby. This has always just been another game. And there's times, because listen, like you just hit the nail on the head, so they're going to go in hard on some of our players.
Yeah.
They're going to wind it all up. They're not stupid. And we do have one or two players. I mean, I'd even throw in Kevin in your analogy there. Kevin can lose his head and throw his foot in and everything else, and can bitch and moan and complain. And once you see what, I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah. I don't want to
biggest
see the
scenario is
raising
you go
the
out and kill
raising
it.
the hands and like, hey ref, what's going on? I don't want
Yeah.
to see any of that.
They have to go out and kill the game early. That is what they're going to need to do for me. And I'm not saying, City are not brilliant. We are. But that, to me, is the strongest United team I've seen in a long while.
Yeah. That's a great point. Dudley points out that McTominay is probably going to try to get at Jack, and we've seen other opposing teams try to do the same thing. Jack's a cool head. I don't know what Jack says when he's holding his hand over his mouth. I don't know if he's talking about players' moms. I don't know what he said.
Yeah, he winds up. Look what he did with Savage. Last season in an Atletico game. He winds up. Of course he does.
So
he just does it quietly.
He does it in a way where it's got us guessing. I'm going to be looking for that heavily. I think we're going to get into this again because this derby is a serious one. I really don't know what to fully expect, but what I do want to see is us playing to our nature of attacking football while also realizing that they're going to look to catch us on a counter. And that's why I go back to our formation and our setup. If Cancelo will be the one inverted up the pitch, then I don't want to see the same thing from Walker.
I'd be more confident if we were at the Swamp. Because United are the away team and they will play like the away team.
Yeah.
The trouble is, playing like the away team on the counter suits them. That just suits them to the ground. If you look against Arsenal at home, they even played as the counter attack team.
Yeah, exactly. So that I think we need to properly expect that. Franklin, salute. Thanks for tuning in. From the US, my guy. All right. And Jack goes, need the Grealish. Absolutely. Again, Jack's going to get under the player's skin, how he's going to hold on to the ball, how he's going to maybe dance and get into the midfield. Again, if he's able to draw attention from 2 or 3, I just want decisive passes and look to either lay that ball off and go for a 1-2 or get that ball into the man Holland, who we now are projecting 30 goals for. But this derby is going to be talked about on the Mancunian way. It's going to be talked about on Pitch Points. It's going to be talked about on Football and Chills. It's going to be talked about on True City Fans. So make sure that you subscribe and follow the family. It doesn't cost a thing. Just hit that sub button, get that notification. If there's not only Manchester City content, but if there's football content and you want to hear it from the fam, hit those buttons. It's free and you won't miss a thing. You will not miss a thing. Now, I'm glad I'm actually able to have you here, Martin. So let me do this as cleanly as I can. I got to take this off screen. I'm going to do this. Vader games. So I've been hearing this a lot lately from many, and it's with regards to Manchester City. It's regards to Arsenal, 2 clubs, 1 and 2 in the league right now, as well as others. And I find that it's often a point that doesn't need to be said. Like, obviously, if injuries happen to any club, whether it's ours, whether it's a rival, it's granted that whether you're predicting an outcome, whether you're predicting an end of season standing, whether you're even predicting a win, if injuries happen, yes, of course, what you're saying is a moot point. It's not as concrete as it used to be. I think that some are often saying that City's an injury away from not being as dominant as they are, and it's kind of like a lazy opinion because there's no replacing KDB. We won't be as dominant. Should we continue to expect that our team can play and win and quote unquote dictate play? Yes, but in a different way. If we get an injury to Ederson and we got Ortega isn't quite proven yet. So to say that we would be the same team or we would execute the same way, we would have the same dominance? No. If injuries does not happen, that's a lazy point in my opinion. Let's us as content creators, as us talking about football, not use that as a point anymore. We know injuries affect the thing, affect outcomes, affect the end of the season. Can a team be covered? Not necessarily like for like, but quality of player for a sub? No. As great as many want to look at City and say we have a backup player for every position.
Mm-hmm.
There's still going to be a level of drop off per player. Martin made a point where he does not want to see KDB, Gundogan, and Rodri in that midfield. So if we happen to get an injury where Silva isn't available and we have to play Gundogan, it's not the same team that's playing out there. It's a different attack. It's a different approach. We're going to have to look at the team differently. Now, do you expect the manager to make the adjustments and not have the same approach, but still look to get a result? 100%. 100%. But to then write off and say, nah, injuries are why this team's no longer successful, no longer dominant. We get it. It's an injury. Am I being a little too sensitive to the point about injuries and team status?
No, but I do think it depends on who's injured.
Oh, okay, example.
For example, if Haaland suddenly got injured for us and was out for 3 months, you would see a difference. You'd see a huge difference.
We'd see a huge difference in how we continue to approach the game.
So,
but would we expect a huge difference to not be, let's say for this case, to not be undefeated at this point in the season? Like, would we say, okay.
Only because if you look at the minute, and I'm only talking from a City perspective at the moment.
Yes, of course.
We're not firing. We're sort of in second gear. So there has been games where it's KDB and Haaland that have dragged us out of moments where we've been in the doldrums in games. Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean. I don't think, apart from the Forest game, there's been a game where we've been free fluent football. It's been what I call bitty football. And that's when your superstars get you out of moments, shall we say. I suppose it's pretty different because, I mean, to your analogy on substitutes, that's why the substitutes, I'm afraid.
Exactly.
Calvin Phillips is not at the level of Rodri. We know that. Mm-hmm. But is he a decent backup? Yes. We know Alvarez is not to the caliber of Erling Haaland. But, and this is what I mean, I think fans want an excuse.
Yeah.
Fans want a get out of jail free card. Always remember that. Fans want it. It's like an opinion. And I spoke with someone today. It was a great analogy in the end. We've now come into this territory in this human domain of someone gives an opinion on Twitter or Instagram or on here or wherever. Mm-hmm. They go so strong on it. And if you notice, they really sort of push it and push it and push it. And you're like, right, it's not an opinion. You're driving that down people's throats. Because what they want is, in 6 months' time, oh, look, I was right.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, hang on. We'll know. We can all play clairvoyant. It don't sort of... footballing is an ever-changing sport. So, for me, it's like me... Saying that, mate, there's games I've told you we've looked so much better without KDB in the team.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's also... What I also find is when KDB, for example, isn't on that pitch, and if we were to look at down the road, because, again, I don't believe Pep will be starting Haaland in every match. But I do believe that when you take a player like a KDB, like a Haaland off the pitch, and the opposing team they're so ingrained, they're so trained to a game plan against them, when there's now movement from a different player and different decisions being made, then it's kind of like, oh, this is a wrinkle I'm not quite prepared for. So
it's because you're not used to it.
You're not used to it, and then to the eye,
it's
exactly.
the eye test. You sit there going,
Exactly.
oh, that's not quite. But it works the opposite way. Like we've
Mhm.
done with some of our EDS about Palmer and everything else. And you go, oh, they're amazing. We've watched them for 10 minutes at 4-0 up and they look fantastic and world class and we'll get them in. And then when you actually put them in at a 0-0 game,
yeah, it's tight.
It's a whole different story at that point.
Talking about patterns of play, and then not to go off on a tangent, but what I do love to see, and going back and watching it, I'm now seeing it happen maybe 2 or 3 times. Well, I should say maybe like 2 times a match. But the KDB being in midfield to essentially being so wide and up the pitch to kind of play like a winger, to give in those crosses, that pattern of play I've now seen pretty routinely, and we all know no one crosses a ball or whips a ball across that 6-yard box better than KDB, and he's now done it where it's like, okay, patterns of play, I now see it, and
you're talking about with Haaland, for example,
with Haaland, and wasn't there a 1-2 that actually resulted with Foden giving it to KDB and KDB crossing it for Haaland's goal, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's like patterns of play that we're like, we're familiar to seeing it, and when we don't see it, it could be
triangles in it. It's all triangles.
Yeah.
You look at
good point.
I think what you're going to look at, and I'm going to give you what I think is a perfect example. Go back to the Dortmund game. Stones was right back.
Mm-hmm.
That affected Mahrez's game. Because Riyad Mahrez is sat on the right, and he's used to Walker overlapping all the time on him.
Yeah.
So overlap. When you've got John Stones who will not do that, you're affecting the back line, you're affecting your front players.
Yeah.
Because you've just totally changed. So I suppose football is a squad game anyway.
Yeah.
You've got to remember, I think City have maybe a bit more of an excuse than others at the moment because of the squad size.
Yes.
I think with
reality. Yeah, the reality of our squad size. Yeah.
But into your terms of, is someone being out for a game or two? Is that a reason to throw the baby out with the bathwater sort of job? No, Not really, because let's be honest, and I'll be straight with you here. How many games have we played with Grealish when he's looked like 10 men?
Yeah.
There's been games where we've literally carried 1 or 2 passengers in games.
Yep.
And if you look at all football teams, all teams do that.
Yeah.
No team goes out with 11 players on full form.
Exactly. And that's why when we were talking about earlier, and again, this derby matchup and where they may attack, where we may choose to attack, it's going to be so interesting. I want to also now go to, and really briefly, the question I asked last week, and it's funny because I didn't expect it. Oddly enough, I had more of a sidebar convo for this than I did in terms of interactions. And it's because when I asked about who's got the best American owners, which clubs got the best American owners in the EPL, funny enough, no lie, no one wanted to openly admit it. Like, I had more direct messaging combos than actual timeline combos. Like Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, talking about those clubs. But then we went through the list. There's also some
Leeds, Bournemouth, City, even now.
Partial ownership and things like that. No one wants to admit that the other club has the better owners, which is funny in its sense because they're so quick to complain about their owners. You see the oxymoron or the conflict? Like, I hate my owners, but I don't want to say that your owners are better.
But again, it's back to it's a bit like your family. You can slag your family off.
Right.
Anybody else does it. Whoa, the fisticuffs come up then, and you all start protecting.
Yeah.
It's like your
it
brother
was
and sister. You'll fight like cat and dog, and you can claw, scratch, and everything at each other. Anybody else does it, different story then.
exactly.
So I think you get that. And not only that, I suppose, again, it's going back to what I just said about the Twitter thing earlier on. Some of these fans have done so much of moaning about their owners, they can't U-turn. Because if they U-turn, someone goes, I've got this tweet from 6 months ago where you literally said your owners are this, that, and that.
Right. Yeah. Which is also, it's wild in itself, because like with new information should come new opinions, but some are so stubborn and some have gone so extreme that there's
it's about being right.
No tracking back.
You want to be right. And that's why they'll go, I've got a tweet from 9 months ago that shows this. Look at me.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, at the minute, I think the biggest debate is probably not admitting you've got the best American owners. I think there's a debate about there. They don't want to admit that at the moment.
That's just it. So the conversation in terms of art, like fan bases saying, I hate my owners, that's one thing. But then for them to also look at rivals and say, you know what, I like you, your owners are doing more than ours, or I like this about your owners that I don't like about mine. They didn't even want to do that. It's like they only want to talk about hating their own. They only want to talk about hating their own owners, but not having the perspective of seeing what the other ownership kind of do within that area. And then also to just say, I hate my owners so much, but maybe my owners are still better than yours. So it was comical. I actually love that, I guess, social experiment that ended up happening with me just asking the question.
Because fans like to moan. Fans like to moan.
Yeah.
They're not happy. City could spend 300 million in the window. You'll always want that extra one or two players. And it just goes, it's what is part of the course, sadly. I mean, and also I think it's probably the timing. If you look at what's going on with a lot of the American ideas, I think it's timing of that as well, because that's very fresh in people's mind.
Yeah. I
so
should look to revisit this.
Do you want to admit that right now? The Chelsea fans want to sit there. We've got the best owner. He spent nearly 300 million, but he wants to bring the American, North and South big game into here. Do they want to admit that at the same time? No.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. I am going to bring it back up because I think it's a nice.
Don't forget that. Our owners are bad. They all agree on one thing: that City owners are bad.
Yeah, exactly. Comical. We got a lot of jokers and some interesting takes out there. But yeah, I just want to share that with you. I don't know how many of you are following me on Twitter, but it was a conversation I was looking to have. It was interesting on how I think fans were conflicted and they were in their box and couldn't get out of it because of things that they'd already said, hating their own rivals.
Would it be different, just on that, say Arsenal won the league, I'm not saying they would, they're going to have a different opinion on Kroenke by the end of it.
To your point, I think because of these fans that went so hard saying we hate the Kroenkes or we want them out.
But how did they backfire if they win the league?
Exactly. Even if my point exactly. You may not have agreed with their method and what they've done, but if it resulted in getting the right manager, getting the right players, letting whatever players go and resulting in winning the league, you have to, even if it's temporarily, you have to be like, you know what?
I think it's super clever as well, though, mate. Look at the Glazers. When the Glazers knew, every time the Glazers have or get wind of there's going to be a massive protest, and everyone's walking out the ground and blah, 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 blah. What do the Glazers do?
Yeah, they go and sign big. You're
absolutely right. They go and sign a player, a world-renowned player. And then they were even cleverer this year. They brought Casemiro out at the exact same time as the protest. So do the fans want to be protesting while Casemiro's walking in the ground? No, not really. So in a way, this is why we laugh. I know going back to the derby a bit, but this is why we laugh at United fans, is because they're so flip flop. It is unreal. They hate their owners. Their owners are this, that, and the other. But sign me a new tie, and I'll shut up for 3 months.
Yeah, they hate their owners, but their owners they've mastered it. It's a science. They know how to deal with the fan base. So
of course they do.
Yeah.
All right. This year, spent a load of money and bang, everything's rosy in the garden again.
Yeah.
Just
Spurs spent big too.
It's like a child's attitude. One thing I would say about football fans, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a.
No, you're good. You're good.
Football fans are like children. Give them what they want, spoon feed them what they want, and they keep quiet.
Yep. They got the pacifier and they're quiet.
Yeah. It's like, here's a brand new toy. Right, okay, cheers. And everything's rosy in the garden. If they win, like United, they've won a few games now. Suddenly the title challengers.
Exactly.
2 games. Suddenly everything's bad again. It's like, come on. This is why I always stay calm.
Try your best. You got to try your.
We're now in a situation where we're going mad over halves of football. That first half was bad. Get him out. What? Let him complete the bloody game first.
Yeah, especially when we're not even down. It's a draw at halftime. I agree.
The Wolves game, 3-0 up. We had about 20 minutes and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
It's
never boring, man. Football is never boring.
It's like,
I agree.
Anyway.
Right.
Max Vader games.
Now, I'm not going to spend too long on this topic, and I'm actually doing this just to, again, it's a Manchester City fan channel. Yes, this is Why Always Me, and you know where Why Always Me was inspired from. I actually went into it a little in depth on Martin's show earlier, just yesterday, but I try to just share my point of view when I'm able to have guests like Martin and we have a panel and we're able to just share our opinions. I want to do that. And I don't spend much time talking about rivals, but when something comes up, I got to address it. I've been talked about not giving enough, I guess, attention or recognition for what Arsenal's done to date. And I've talked about Arsenal at length at times, mostly because 2 City players are now over there. And I think those 2 City players and the quality that they have resulted in instant impact, instant shift in mentality and approach towards the league. I'm not dismissive of Arsenal, but I've said this because they're obviously history-wise, they've had histories of success. I'm not being that dismissive. But recently they haven't been top of the league like this. Last season at this point, I believe even their first 3 games of last season, they didn't win or score a goal. So them being number 1, I think 1 point up on us with regards to the league, 6 games in, is good. It's important.
Yeah.
To say that I'm now dismissing a team like Liverpool from past seasons that have pushed us to the very last game of the season, and to say it's now City and Arsenal, I'm not going to go that far. And I can't go that far because I haven't seen enough from Arsenal to do that. I do believe Arsenal fans and their perspective to say, why not? Why not can't Arsenal be there at the end? Why not can't Arsenal do like Leicester did? And you absolutely can. Fans are short for fanatics. You're supposed to think extreme. You're supposed to think the most. You're supposed to think the best. But as a rival, which I am, City fan, I need to see more. I'm not even declaring City as winning the league. I want them to win the league. I've seen them win the league. I want a three-peat, but I know that it's a long season. I know that more needs to be played out. Arsenal fans, I think, again, you're proclaiming a little too prematurely. You're doing that a little early. Can you be a Leicester? And on the next show, I'm actually going to look into it. I'm going to look into what Leicester's season was in 2015, 2016, because it often gets kind of this. Well, it often gets kind of dismissed as, oh, it's a
No, I'm
Cinderella
just thinking
story.
because you're comparing Arsenal to Leicester, you'll get Arsenal fans coming after you. We're bigger than Leicester. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you will.
Yeah, which isn't the but that's not that's not the comparisons. Arsenal fans, trust me. I'm not saying that club size, fan base, history. If you want to do all that, I'm not saying you or Leicester's you. I'm not doing that. But I am saying that in terms of like a title pursuit, a a journey for trophies, a journey for the league trophy. Yes, it is possible for you to do what Leicester did. Yes, it is possible. But I think you really need to go and break down and look at what Leicester did in that season. The teams that they had to beat, the teams that the consistent that they had to show, even from a goal scoring standpoint. You look at what Vardy did that season. You look at what Mahrez did for that season.
Yeah.
You look at what Conte did for that season. You look at the players that had to play that played key important roles. That goes into why they had that magical run. Is it possible for your players to do it? Tell me which players you expect that type of performance from players like I just mentioned happening within your squad, and we'll have the combo. But I need to see more. Leicester in 2015 was magical. Arsenal fans, are you ready to say you're about to have a magical season? Know your facts before you say that. Is my 2 cents.
Yeah. I think Arsenal, yeah. Because you've got to remember, it's A to Z. This time last year, they were getting relegated. Apparently. Because remember, they'd lost like the first 5 or 6 games. One of them was a hammering by us. And then this year, they won a few. I mean, there was even talk of them being invincible again. And you know what? You know why fans won't give them the respect at the minute? It's nothing to do with not respecting what they've done. It's the fact that they have chirped so loud over the last few weeks and told everyone how great they are and how bad everyone else is and how they're going to dominate this league and blah, 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 blah. Now everyone's wanting them and waiting for them to fall. And the first major hurdle they got, they fell.
Yep.
Exactly. Fell. They were dominating United all over the pitch at the Swamp. And Arteta showed his inexperience and he choked. He made 3 stupid subs that didn't need to be made. He panicked. And he got major. I mean, basically, to put it bluntly, Arteta took a win and turned it into a loss. They were on course to win the game. He snatched defeat straight out of
from victory. He snatched defeat from victory.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and that's the thing. And maybe like it is, it's social media, and you shouldn't always take, a proper viewpoint from social media. I understand that. But if Arsenal were a little bit more humble, because Leicester City were very humble later. Don't know if you remember, Leicester City did not crow and shout and tell everyone they were going to do this, that, and the other. Yeah. We're 6-7 games in, and Arsenal were going to be invincibles again.
Like, and it's a large part why Leicester did. They actually they attacked
and why everyone
thieves in the night a little bit, right? Like
them. They enjoyed them winning the league. They celebrated them winning the league because it was a win for the little guys. If you speak to Arsenal fans now, they put the name on the trophy, put it to bed, and give it up. Like, come on.
I agree.
So just be humble. Anyway, I'm going to shoot, mate. I'm going to big thank you for having me on. I'm going to let you.
Hey, absolutely. Anytime, whenever possible, I'm sharing that link. Thanks for being part of the show. And I know you got yours. Everyone, make sure you go into YouTube. Just search The Mancunian Way. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And then you'll get the notifications when they're live. All right? Thank you for being on the show, man.
Interesting, that one. United versus City fans. This will be great.
It'll be good. I'll be tuned in.
I'm looking forward to just to get the opposition viewpoint. But yeah, Cheers, mate, and hopefully I will see you soon. Maybe even tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You don't know. Take care, mate.
Take care.
Oh, by the way, like and subscribe to this legend.
Hey,
He deserves it. Trust me. Take care, mate.
appreciate it. All right. Now, again, I was talking not to be disrespectful, but to just bring a viewpoint with regards to Arsenal and what they're pursuing. I'm not saying that it is not possible. I'm not saying that you guys don't have a right to be excited. I am saying that when you do want to make that comparison to what Leicester did and going after this league, maybe not being ready to do it, look at the quality of players that you're going to need, the performances that you're going to need for that magical run that you're now talking about. That's all I really wanted to point out. All right. Now, let's do this.
Vader games.
Okay. I haven't told the story. But I will. Let me know in the comments, because I want to give it its proper time. We're already pretty late into this show. But I'm going to give you the origin of the name Vader Games. I'm going to give you the origin story. All right. I'm going to have the proper amount of time. Maybe I'll have some theatrical, suspenseful music, but I'm going to give you the origin to Vader Games. If you want to guess on how Vader Games came about, let me know in the comments, or let me know next time. But I'm going to give you the origin, and then I'll also, but before that, and today, I'm going to share with you what I did even before doing this show with regards to Why Always Me, because I had a channel. I really just posted some of the gaming interactions I would have, and I have an account on Twitch, so please go and subscribe over there. Those contributions obviously help me with how I manage or what I'm able to put into this show. But the last topic of the night, and I want to put this on screen for all you gamers out there, it's that time of year. I know that there's a lot of mixed feelings on whether they liked FIFA, they enjoy it or not. I'm old school. I have never come across a perfect game. There's always something within the game that it's like, you know what, you just accept it for what it is. Do I enjoy the game? Are there elements that I would like to see improved? Yeah. But for me, it's like even loving the game is sometimes for the imperfections. If we want to go back in the day, old school, even maybe the remake, but Punch-Out. Mike Tyson Punch-Out was not a perfect game. But did I enjoy that thing? 100%. 100%. Even games like Bomberman, or if you want to go even on PC, games like StarCraft. I know I'm geeking out, nerding out, or Dawn of War, things like that. But no perfect game, but there's enjoyment. Which leads me to want to talk about FIFA. FIFA 23 is dropping. I believe it dropped today. Dropped today for those that want to get the early version. And I think on the 30th you can get the normal version or whatever. So I played FIFA heavily, like back in the day. I've been playing FIFA tough. I'm not the ultimate team guy. I'll be honest with you. For you younger viewers, I'm not an ultimate team guy. For you older viewers that don't quite game that way, just hear me out. But my love of gaming, and FIFA in particular, led me to actually join a league. It was basically an e-fantasy league, e-league, and you just joined, you fought or you played for your team, you had your team, and then you played weekly matches, like what they actually have in the EPL. You played once a week, maybe twice a week, depending on what it was. And at the end of it, if you were one of the best, you were one of the best. You played for the playoffs and da-da-da. It was an interesting mix. But I want to share that with you, because if you want to see a different part of Vader Games, I know I'm talking about myself in the third person. But if you want to see a different part of the analytical, objective, talking football with you, if you want to see the more jokey, slightly disrespectful antagonist, if you want to see that element of me and other players within the league, that and it's trash talk, but it's respectful. It was never malicious, never hurtful. But if you want to catch that, definitely go, and maybe I'll look to update my channel and maybe make those clear with the videos that I have for that. But if you want to go back and even in bite size, you want to enjoy some of that content, see this different perspective, go to IG, go to Instagram, and type in so THE underscore. Maybe I'll do that right now. So create underscore IEGA. Is that right? Yeah. IEGA. So in Instagram, in the search bar, THE underscore IEGA. All right. Not many posts. The season's got to come back in. I'm hoping, I'm asking for the league to come back for this season. They took a hiatus with the whole, obviously, lockdown of what happened, and also with regards to the limited quantities of PS5s and PS4s, there was that influx. But the game's back is actually going to be cross-platform. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe everyone's going to be able to play together. But go to the IG, the underscore IEGA. Check out the videos, and the videos are absolutely hilarious. Please share a comment. I'm hopefully gonna check it out. Tag me in them. We'll have some interaction. But it's gonna be a different Vader Games that you know. I hope you tune in. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments. This show, pleasure as always. Love interacting with all of you. I'm Vader Games TV, episode 48. Why always me? This Manchester derby is important, so important. Biggest test of the season. And we got to see how we attack, how we defend, how we just respond to such a match. There's going to be a lot of eyes paid onto how our players deal with this intense matchup. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. I'm Vader Games. I will catch you guys on the next show. Maybe there's going to be a bonus show. Who knows? But I'm out.